Hello and welcome to Gardening at 58 North. In this video I'm going to be replanting up my wallflower planters here. So in the last video I've done a video about looking after wallflowers and how to make them perennial, and in that video I pruned them back so they're ready to go for another year. But what I'm going to do is don't really have enough space to keep them, to be honest, because as you can see my balcony is pretty full at the moment, so I need to find out what to do with them. So I'll keep one or two, but I think most of them unfortunately will be binned. So I'll probably keep the nicest, biggest ones, like the nice one on the left here, which is looking pretty good. And then what I'm going to plant them up with is Antirrhinums and Lobelia and Osteospermums. So the Antirrhinums are down here, and as are the Lobelia, about there. And I'm going to plant out these old Osteospermums that I actually had them in those tubs last year, so they should do quite well hopefully. They are a little bit leggy, so I'm hoping the wind doesn't damage them too much, but it's now coming into summer, so we shouldn't have too many strong winds. So what I'll do now is I'll take them out and then I'll plant up the new plants. So this is one of the ones I'm going to keep, and I think there's just enough root on it still to be alive. I mean, I've cut off a lot of the flowers, so it doesn't need all the roots that it used to have, so it should do fine in that smaller root system. I'll figure out what to do with this later. What I might do is put it in the fridge, give it a cold treatment, because once it's had a cold treatment it should induce it to put on new flowers, but I'm not going to do that until autumn time. I think it still needs to have a good summer heat to get it raised. So it needs to have a summer before it can have a winter, if you know what I mean. So leave this outside for a while and then I'll put it in the fridge maybe for a few months in probably July or August, and then let it warm up again in September. Hopefully that'll make it flower in October, November time. So this is the root system. I've just taken these straight out of the pot. Just thought I'd show you how good the root system was. It's quite interesting to see. As you often get, they're upside down at the moment, so you can see it's done what they often do, which is concentrate all the roots at the bottom, because that's where the moisture is. But you can see they had a really good root system, so I was happy with that compost. Looks like a pretty good compost mix. I think that was Levington's multi-purpose I had. It's worked really well. There's a reservoir system in these tubs, so the first inch here can be soaked with water and kept moist. And there's no evidence that the plants got waterlogged and rotted off, so it's worked well without having any waterlogging issues. And you can see the roots are really good, so I'm happy with that. So I'll use the same system again this year. And it kind of shows you how, although it looks like a big tub here, you can see that most of it's actually spaced because you've got the rail in between. You've got that gap so you can fit on the railings. So there's not actually a huge amount of root space, but it's worked well and hopefully it'll work well again. So what I'll be using is same compost again, but I'm going to add a little bit of perlite this time and a little bit of bloodfish and bone, so that the perlite will improve the drainage. It doesn't need much though. I'll just put a little bit because you can see the root structure on that is actually really very good. And I'll put a bit of bloodfish and bone just to give it a bit of extra feed as well. So I thought I'd just show you the process I'm using for my compost. So basically what I'm doing is I'm taking the compost from the bag, making sure it's nice and broken up, there's no big lumps in it, make sure it's loose. And then once I put a bit of compost in, and then putting in a little bit of perlite as well. And then a little bit of bloodfish and bone. And then I'm just mixing all the three ingredients together, and I'm going to continue that as I build up the layers until it's completely filled. So there we are, that's it completely filled. So this has given me a nice loose mixed compost, which is quite a bit of drainage. Now I'll do exactly the same with the other one, but unfortunately I won't be able to use any perlite because I pretty much run out of perlite now, so I'll just have to leave for this year. But it'll be a good test. I'll be able to see which one does best, because there'll be two tubs, one will have perlite, one will not have perlite. It won't be a perfect test because the Lobelia is going to be on both of them, but the other plant will be a different. One will be an Antirrhinum, one will be a Osteospermum. So I won't get a true test of how good it does with the perlite, without the perlite, but we'll be able to tell a little bit with the Lobelia being in both pots. So that's it. So now it's time to plant up my Lobelia. So I won't show you both the pots because it'll take too long, but I'll do this one with Lobelia and I'll do this one with the Osteospermums because I think that'll be a bit more interesting. The other tub I'm just going to put these Antirrhinums at the back, which planting up wise is very similar to planting up the Lobelia, to be honest, because it's just popped out from a pack. So start with Lobelia. We've got 12 here, so I need 6 plants if I want to do half and half. So I quickly just pop these out. So as I said before, the idea is I'm going to have all the training plants at the front, so all the Lobelia going at the front here, and then I'm going to have the Osteospermums along the back. Now I think I'll probably plant the Osteospermums up now, because I think with being a bigger pot, it's going to be a bit more tricky to plant them, especially as you can see the soil in the middle is very shallow. The soil at the sides is quite deep though. So here's my Osteospermum. You can see it, what I mean by when I pick it up, it just kind of falls apart because it's been in a very sheltered spot and it's not really growing a very strong stem. But it has got lovely flowers. I may have to prune it back if the weakness of the stem is an issue, because it has got a bit leggy. But you can see it really does have beautiful flowers on that. And I grew these 2 plants last year, and they've grown quite big. They were tiny. They were just literally just right down to there, just a few centimeters, just like a plug plant really, about the size of maybe that branch there, just above my thumb. So you can see how much it's grown. So I'll pop these out. The roots won't be amazing, but they should be okay. Should be decent enough. There we are. You can see the roots. They're quite healthy. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to plant them with the flowers facing towards the balcony, because what will happen is, with the sun being on this side of the pot, the plant will naturally grow that direction. So I may have to take some of the roots off, but hopefully not. Just push them in. There we are. It's actually just the right size. It's not too big, that the pot, to fit in the thin gap. I'll just do the same with this one. There we are. It does look a bit messy at the moment, but I'm thinking I might have to prune these because they are a bit messy, as I say. So I'll just spin around so you can see the front, and I'll just quickly pop in all of these. So there we are, that's them all planted. Now it might seem like these are kind of overshadowing these and crowding them out a bit. That's not an issue, because if anything that might be slightly beneficial, because what I want these Lobelias to trail forwards and over the front of the pot and cover up the front of the pot quite nicely, so that's not a problem. So as I say, this will be the side which is facing outwards, this will be the side facing the building, so these should trail down and these will grow over as well. And I'll give you guys an update when this has all been pruned up and looks a bit nicer. But that's it for now, and I'll just show you a quick introduction to the other one as well. Okay, so this is the other tub planted up now. So I'll just show you the plants that I've actually put in. So in both the other one and this one, the Lobelia is the Lobelia dark trailing mix. Hopefully it'll focus on there. So that will give hopefully about maybe 1 or 2 foot of blue flowers trailing down the side. And the Antirrhinums I've got is a nice yellow one here, you can see there. So with the Antirrhinums, I've kept 4 of them because I need them actually in another trough that I'm going to be planting up in probably a few days. And the Antirrhinums, they are going to grow quite big, so I don't really need to have too many of them in plant up. I think actually this tub looks a lot nicer than the other one. The other one, to be honest, I think it looks a bit of a mess with all that Osteospermum getting quite leggy. So in hindsight, I'm thinking maybe it would have been a better idea just to start from scratch and not overwinter my Osteospermums, maybe just to buy a new plant basically. Maybe keep the Osteospermums but not put them in this trough again, because they've just got too big now and too leggy. They would have done well in a pot, but it's now done, it's too late. So what I might do is I might cut them back just to bring them up to a nice size. And with the Antirrhinums, what I'm going to do is I want these to be a nice bushy plant. Can get quite windy in my balcony, so what I will do is I'm going to cut them quite low down here, like that. Cut all the shoots back. Unfortunately what this will do is it won't actually flower for a while, because this already had flower buds just starting to form, and it would have actually flowered probably in a few weeks time. So instead of it flowering in a few weeks time, it's probably going to flower in maybe a month or so. But what it's going to give is a much bushier plant, a much sturdier plant. It's going to have several flower spikes, so I might be losing out on flowers in the short term, but I should get more flowers in the long term. So I'll just quickly show you now my final position for them. And so here they are, finally planted up in the final positions. As I say, I think these Osteospermums are just too leggy, so I'm going to have to either cut them back or replace them with some better plants. You can see the Lobelia and the Antirrhinums look good here. and the Lobelia at the front look quite good. So I just need to water these in now, and I'll keep you guys updated as to how these go over the summer. Hopefully I'll have some really good displays, and my next project will be planting up petunias. As you can see here, I've got a really nice vein petunia, which is looking really quite beautiful. The yellow Antirrhinums, and they're going to go in this tub which has got the Dead Springs bulbs in it. They just die back because it's summer and they naturally die back. I might also do a video digging them out, just having a look at how big the bulbs are, see how they fattened up. But they were devastated by aphids, so I'm not expecting the best for them. Otherwise, that's it for now for the balcony. I'll just quickly leave you with the other ones I did about a week ago. You can see they're starting to flower nicely as verbena, and the marigolds as well. That's all for now, and thanks for watching.